Okay. Greetings, 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 dear Cancer. That's you, okay? This is Tarot Lumination. This is your mini love and relationship generic report for May 2018. Cards are well shuffled in advance, even before we were rolling, but I like to go to the last second so that you guys are a witness. Now, I've been doing these little astrology notes for everybody, including you, Cancer, because May is such kind of a big deal month for everybody with the huge shift in energy, the Taurus shift in energy. I'll show you the notes before we get into the reading. Okay, so here we are, Cancer, May 2018. The big news is this Taurus energy. May 15th, the big new moon in Taurus simultaneously with Uranus moving into Taurus. That's a big deal for everybody. For you too, Cancer, some way, somehow. So for you, Cancer, it would actually be happening, in technically speaking, in your 11th house over here, about community and friendship and hopes, dreams, wishes, and the rewards of activity and creative endeavor, okay, over here. So that's one item. The next item is that right at the very end of April, April 29th, there is this full moon right here in Scorpio, okay, opposing the Taurus sun. So that's going to have a 2-week lag time all the way through the first half of May. So it's kind of important, okay, especially since the big light, the lights are going to be on in love and relationship, love and romance. It's more about the romance and the true love as opposed to like the marriage structure, but you will feel it. And so you might be coming to awareness and peaking at the very end of April and then integrating everything for the first 2 weeks of May as you figure out what was the big message for you at the very beginning of May. How does that feel by the time that you come back here to the new moon, where you will feel like the rewards and the outcomes of what you just integrated over the last 2 weeks to the middle of May. The next thing is we have to put on the record, even though it's very hard to understand and deal with. Look over here, this is you, Cancer. Well, let's just say this is the sun or the moon or the rising. That's you, okay? So over here, guess what? There's your 7th house. This is the relationship axis over here, 1 and 7, 7th house. So as you probably know, for years we've had Pluto in Capricorn here, right here. Now we have Saturn in Capricorn right here too. And we just finished Mars in Capricorn. So we're just finishing it up. So let me just check something. Stay there. Bear with me just a second. It's going to be halfway through the month, but it is going to change. So there's a lot of pressure here. But it's very, very deep pressure, okay, on your relationships, on your most fundamental relationships. Deep reality checking about what's actually going on in your most significant relationship. How are you turning this into reality? How are you manifesting this? And how is it transforming your life completely from the outside in, okay? Because you won't experience this deep transformation except through the relationship with a significant other over here, okay? And because it's Saturn and Pluto together, it's very tough. Now, also, I just want to note, we just flipped into Saturn retrograde and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn here. So you could feel a lot of pressure on your relationships, but at a very deep down level where you're trying to figure it out and understand it. So you combine this with this, that's a lot of stuff going on for you in your relationships and love life, Cancer, but at a very kind of deep level to understand, okay? However that works out. And then right at the end of the month, we have the May, the full moon, Sagittarius moon. Sorry, I got this all wrong. Moon in Sagittarius and Sun in Gemini, okay, right here at the very end of the month. So that doesn't really touch you directly on love and relationships, so we'll leave that for now, all right? Anyway, I just wanted to get those notes out there because it's kind of a big deal, all right? So I know it took a long time for us to get to the cards, but I feel it's my duty to inform you I don't want to leave you guys hanging. You know, if I know this, if I'm aware of this stuff and I have to track this stuff for everybody in my energy included, then I feel great joy in being able to share it with you, and an obligation, okay, and a responsibility. Okay, so the cards are shuffled. We're going to use the crucible spread that I kind of have for you guys, on the understanding that there's you, Cancer, a significant other, and a third entity, the relationship itself. Now, if you're a single, if you really want to stretch things and use the laws of attraction in action, then you can read this as a singles reading, and then the other character over here could be like a what if, on the understanding that you radiate energy and then you get the reciprocal reflected back to you in some way or another. Okay? Basically, the laws of attraction in action. Laws of physics. It's simple laws of physics. You put something out there and something comes back. So let's just, you know what, let's just say the cards are shuffled. No reversals, none of that. The cards are beautiful as they're made. And we'll just get into it, okay? But this is really more built for couples, but you can still read it as a single if you want to. Okay, I'm going to cut it right up. A very extreme cut, because I want to break the deck up to be as neutral as possible. Okay, this will be your love energy that you're radiating from the core, like a radar, like an invisible, like a cell phone, okay? And this will be the significant other over here, or the what if person over here. This is you deep in the soul of you, themselves and deep in the soul of themselves, and the core, the relationship itself here, and the momentum and prospects as we intimate and separate. So I'm hoping you can see that this is the crucible. This is the structure in which the relationship is conducted, in which both parties give themselves a structure and an environment in which they can intimate and separate, as we all do. We're always intimating and separating in the context of a loving relationship. We get very, very close. We get very far away. We get close. We get far away. And it's a never-ending wave. It's just like the ocean currents. It never stops. It's like the tides. They never stop. Okay? So this is a safe place. In a loving relationship, this is a safe place. This could be very fractured or non-existent in a poor, unhealthy relationship. Okay, let's have a look at the circumstantial energy. Call it the weather. And you, Cancer, will make the best of it. So we have the moon here. So my feeling here is that this relates very closely to the energies that I was talking about over here, the deep, deep soul shifts with Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn in your marriage sector, and the moment of awakening that's happening to you in your romance, in love, true love and romance. What is being integrated through the first 2 weeks of May, and then how does that show up in the middle of May, and how is that going to look for the rest of May once this massive shift and trigger happens over here in your 11th house Taurus energy. Now, of course, the Scorpio Taurus energies are very compatible and harmonious with you. And the Capricorn energy is a direct opposition. So you're dealing with a lot of relationship dynamics here. So it could be very understandable that you might be freaking out, that you might feel as though you're getting hazed, that you're getting really, really stretched to your limits in some ways that are very, very beautiful, but also might be a little disorienting and very hard to navigate because you've never been here before. Okay? This is a moment in time. We call it May 2018 in human calendar terms, and this moment will never ever be repeated again. Okay? So it's okay. You might have a very loving relationship, but at this moment in time, it might be feeling as though everything is being squeezed through a funnel, or like you're having to walk on a high wire act between your old self and your new self that's unfolding. With the Uranus and Taurus energy happening, it's going to change everything. So you might as well get used to it. With the Pluto and the Saturn stuff happening, it's going to change everything. It's serious reality checks going on here. What are you actually manifesting from the depths of your soul, and how is that coming out and displaying into your life? This is, to me, feels like it's very much a month of May where it's like an oh gulp moment. Gulp. But you endure. You will endure. The journey will continue, and you might feel like you're walking, on one of those massive tight ropes between two skyscrapers, trying to balance it all, trying to hold, you know, hold your balance in very, very disorienting conditions. But that's okay. You will endure. This is just a moment in time. Things will change. They're always changing. Change is the only thing. Let's have a look deep at the core. So, in other words, don't be scared. Feel scared. Allow the fear. Feel the fear, but keep going anyway. Okay? That's all this is. Okay? You're fine. You're going to be fine. What are you radiating? Pow, wah, 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 yeah, yeah. Go Cancer. It almost might be like this whole thing is turning you on, making you like literally glow in your essence to the point where it's almost like this is historical. To me, as your reader, this feels historical. This feels like a historical moment in time, not just for love and relationship, but for you, the individual person here, where you are getting reflected back to you in your love life, in your significant other, in any relationship that you have that could equate to a marriage. And you're realizing part of it is like, wow, how amazing you are to have just got this far and actually survived and actually made it. Realizing the gifts and the talents and the resources that you have at hand. And I'm feeling that's very much to do with the Taurus energy over here, very much about value and resources and gifts and talents. And you might be seeing that and feeling like how you have that in the context of the world around you, where you're part of a community, where you're realizing much more about how you belong to the world, what you can bring to the world in a way that's really kind of magnificent. And that you've probably worked very hard to get to this place and be this person so that you can radiate your energy this way. It's very magnetic, it's very powerful, and it's very much about what exactly you're going to do with all your talents and gifts and resources, especially when it comes to love and relationship, because you have these options in front of you. You have the talents, the gifts, the resources in front of you, and the power to execute, the ability to love and be loved, the ability to be deeply loving, to be deeply loved. That's huge. That's a very, very big deal. Okay? And it does involve a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of power that comes with that. So you have to understand, what are you going to do with that power? That's a challenge. So this whole thing, Pluto over here, Saturn over here, that's a big, big test. They're testing you. What exactly are you doing, Cancer, with all your gifts and power? What exactly are you doing, Cancer, in your love life when this deep scorpionic energy is happening here? And remember, Jupiter is still in Scorpio here, but it's retrograde. So you might still be doing a lot of integrating, still trying to figure out, like, my gosh, who am I? What am I really doing? I have all this talent, these certain gifts and everything, and I have my weaknesses too, but we're focusing on the good stuff right now. What exactly am I doing with all of this? That's how it feels to me, Cancer. So let's have a look at the other. Okay, wow. I feel you're very, very lucky here, Cancer, because it looks to me like you're relating with someone who has very deep, good intentions with you, for you, about you, and they are willing to walk away from anything and everything that is really toxic and unhealthy in their lives in order to bring the love. I'm looking at this as evidence of love, pentacles, hard, cold facts, reality of love. Love is as love does. Let's just state for the record here that from the Terra Illumination perspective, love is a willing decision, a willing act to deliberately go above and beyond your existing comfort zone, your existing status quo, and to extend yourself, to nurture the spiritual healing, health, and growth and evolution of yourself and your deepest loved ones. That's the biggest gift you can do to the planet, is to love yourself. And my feeling is that you're very lucky, Cancer, because you being your awesome self here, have managed to attract someone who is very complimentary to you and is willing to nurture that with you because they get you. They're willing to invest in you, bring the goods to you, knowing that you have what it takes to be with them. These look like very different cards in some ways, but to me they feel very complimentary, and they're coming from a very different perspective, but they get it, they understand you, and they want what's best. It's like they're willing to go whole hog here, to do the full thing, to do whatever it takes to get this thing to function properly in a very material, worldly, understandable manner. Okay? Yeah, evidence of love. The evidence of love, not just like saying, oh, we're going to do this and it wouldn't be nice if this or this. No, this is actually doing it. This is love in action. Okay, when are we going to meet? We're going to meet at so and so, and we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. Okay? And you say, okay, well, thank you very much. Now let's do this and this and this. And it actually works and it actually happens. Or we're going to make love on this weekend. Or we're going to go out and do a date. Or we're going to invest in this. Or we're going to plan this and do these things that are evidential of love and the investment in ourselves and each other and the relationship. It's very, very wholesome. It's very much evidence, loving and being loved. Okay, so let's have a look deep inside of you. This is exciting. Okay, to me, this looks like this is actually a big turn on for you. It's just like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I could handle this. I didn't even know I could do it. And deep down at the soul level, to me, it feels like for you, Cancer, it's almost like you've been waiting for this chance to happen where you can really, really shine, where you can really come into your element, into your gifts and talents, and really, through the friction of what happens in every relationship, no matter how good this is, I painted a very good picture with these cards here, and that even despite this intrepidation here, even despite the not knowing of the exact GPS coordinates of what you're doing and where you're going, it kind of doesn't matter. The point is that you're going, that you're doing it, and that you are being very loving and putting all your power behind that love, the expression of love in its fullest kind of glory, using all your resources. And deep down, it's almost like, as scary as this is, it's also very exciting. It's like opening up of a whole new life for you, a whole new world when it comes to love and romance, when it comes to love and relationship in the most profound ways, okay? And you're going to see evidence of it, okay? So I'm really encouraged for you, okay? Let's have a look deep inside of them. Wow. Oh, Cancer, I feel you're very, very lucky here, Cancer, because I have a feeling you're relating to someone who feels very lucky to be with you, and that they are going to think of this as a long-term trajectory where their own talents and gifts and resources are being exposed and brought to the surface in the context of this relationship, to the point where they don't even hardly know what to do with themselves. It's very satisfying for them, and they sense the reward. They sense the fulfillment coming, the fulfillment on the way, it's almost like magic, literally almost like there's something very magical going on here for you, Cancer, and it's having uh, not a boomerang, not an echo, but an exact like match for you on the other side, where it's amplified. The better it gets, the better it gets. Let's put it that way. Where they get to the point where they can see the fruits of their labors. They can see the results of their investment in you and the relationships and themselves. It isn't just lovey-dovey romance. Oh, you're so hot. Oh, let's make out. Let's do this. Or let's get married and have some babies and hope that it works. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's much more substantial. We're talking about something here that's very deeply grounded, very solid, very much based in reality. No matter how challenging things are, There's a lot of love here, a lot of evidence of love that is being gifted to you, brought to the relationship because they sense that it's worth it, and they see the fruits of their, let's say, desires and ambitions and goals. What about the core itself here? Wow. Okay, well, to me it feels like this is almost bound to happen in some way. To me, I'm not sure why I'm feeling it, but I guess it's probably because of the first two cards that pulled. It feels like there's kind of a lot of fated energy here. It's like too big to understand or grasp it all in one little tarot reading. But with the Six of Pentacles here at the core of the relationship, it feels like it's an indication that the relationship is very harmonious and very balanced, where you're going to have a constant environment in which you can give and receive to each other, where you have your moments where you can be very generous and kind and giving to your loved one, and your loved one can have equal moments of being very kind and generous and giving towards you. But what that means really is about the investment in the relationship itself. In other words, there's a lot of self-interest here. They're not just doing this because they're gaga for you. You're not just doing all of this because you're gaga for them. They're doing it because they see it as an investment for themselves. Like it's like building a castle together, building something beautiful and structured together that's passionate, loving, and has power, and allows both parties to give and receive, to be loving, to be loved in the context of a loving relationship. To me, it feels very beautiful, where it's almost like a tarot illumination little mantra coming into reality, like be loving and be loved, be loving, be loved. You are loving, you are loved. Love yourself first, then you can have the love to give to others. And then all of a sudden, poof, there it is. Wow, that's what I'm feeling for you, Cancer. This is like love is as love does, evidence of love. So let's have a look at the momentum here. Whoa, King of Cups. And to me, it also gives me a feeling that you guys, both of you, will have the ability by investing in yourselves and each other like this, and thinking long term, thinking practical, thinking in terms of the solid realities of life, the Taurus energy, the Capricorn energy, very, very solid, very good for you, Cancer. It puts both of you in a position where you more and more and more attain mastery of yourselves and each other. Not ownership, like I own you and you own. No, I'm talking about mastery, where the relationship itself becomes emblematic, symbolic of a life well lived, of decisions well made, of loving and being loved, of being loving and being loved. So the relationship becomes symbolic of that. Becomes the embodiment of a loving relationship. It's not the same model for everybody, but it could be an example. It could be like a template that is being built here through a process of long-term investment, literally like building something, starting from scratch. You have a dream, an idea, then you have a sketch on a napkin, then you bring an architect or a builder or a contractor, and then you start finding land, and then you invest, you put down the first layers of foundation, then you build, and then you grow, and eventually you have a structure, a crucible, an entity in which you can live. And it's very nutritious for you. It's very nutritious for the other. It's very nutritious for the world. That's how I feel about this reading for you, Cancer. So let's not get too carried away. It's very intimidating in some ways too. Okay, I just wanted to tone it down a little bit and not get you all dizzy with the excitement, because it's a long-term journey. We just happen to be going through a very significant threshold moment here in the middle of May 2018. So let's just leave it at that. You can reinterpret however you want. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. You know the drill. All the best for May, dear Cancer. You can handle it. You can do this.